Hello everyone! So today we're going to be having a look at the brand new Inov8 Trailfly Speed. So Inov8 have just brought out some different Trailfly versions, the standard version and the Speed. So the Speed is the one I've had for the past couple of weeks. So I've been out and done 4 runs in them. I've done 30 odd K. I've done some recording on my initial runs to get immediate kind of feedback as to what I'm thinking. So we're going to have a look at some of that. I'll go over some of the differences here in the cave and go through all the specs. And at the end of the video, I'll also point out some of the differences between the new Speed version and the standard version. Okay, let's get to it. So let's start off with a couple of features of the shoe. So first off, so the Inov8 Trailfly Speed, it's only been released in a wide fit. So it's wider in the forefoot, also wider in the heel as well. They are going to release a standard fit, that's on its way soon. But initially, it's just in the wide. I did think, is this going to be too wide for my feet? My feet are just a standard width, middle of the road, medium shaped foot. But this actually holds my foot nicely. It gives my foot plenty of space to spread out here, like so, but it doesn't let my foot wobble about inside. It does still hold my feet. In the heel as well, same again. Plenty of space if you've got slightly bigger feet, wider and broader, but if you don't, it also fits. Also fits me anyway. So foothold of the shoe has been absolutely fine, even with it being wider. It also claims to be foot shaped as opposed to, what the heck is going on here?
Photo.
No!
So this is my second run in the Trailfly Speeds. So what have I thought after 2 runs, or 1.5 runs at the moment? First things that jump out at me about them are low to the ground. So they don't have a big stack height with tons of cushioning. So I definitely feel closer to the earth, closer to the ground I'm running on. I have more contact. I've got more feel for what I'm running on as well. So little stones, well not little, pointier stones, I can feel. But that's not always a bad thing, depending on the sort of run you want to do. Sometimes you want to feel and react quickly as to what you're running on.
Stack height. So the stack height is 22 mil at the heel and 18 mil at the forefoot.
Pretty sure these are a 4 mil drop, and they feel low. I've got a fair few other 4 and 5 mil drop shoes, and these certainly feel low to the ground.
That feels low to me compared to some of my other Inov8 shoes. That's a fairly low stack height. Most of my other shoes have got bigger stack, much more cushioning. So that does make it a feely shoe. So when you're running, you are conscious of what you're running on, but that means you can react and push off quicker in certain areas, which is quite a nice feeling if you want to go out for that quicker run. As I did mention as well, I could feel things underneath my feet to a certain extent. It does have a rock plate in between the outsole and the midsole. So it does have a rock plate. It's called a meta shank rock plate, I believe, which moves with the shoe. I know when you're running, your foot isn't doing this, but you're getting the gist. There is flexibility in there, so it's not like a rigid rock plate, which makes the shoe really stiff and horrible. There's plenty of movement in there, so it is moving with the shoe to give you some protection.
It's certainly not a stick on and go out and do massive miles and expect loads of cushioning.
At the midsole, they're using a PowerFlow Pro foam. So that responsive midsole does offer some cushioning. It's not, as I pointed out, doesn't have a massive stack height. It's not, the shoe isn't aimed at giving you tons and tons of cushioning. It's supposed to be lower and a speedier shoe. But to help aid with the cushioning as well, they are also using their Boomerang footbed, which is that just there, the footbed with the knobbly bits underneath. So they've used this footbed on loads of other shoes now, and it definitely does make a difference. So using that along with the Powerflow Pro midsole, that is offering a decent amount of cushioning, but don't expect loads of cushioning to go out and run for miles and miles. Right, let's touch on some other points of the shoes. I briefly touched on before that the shoe is anatomically shaped. So the shoe itself is foot shaped as opposed to shoe shaped, which is a good thing, definitely. Other brands have been doing that for a while, so it's nice to see that Inov8 are making the shoes the shape of your feet, well, as much as they can, because we all have different size feet, different shaped feet. The upper, they're using a one-piece mesh upper. So it's one continual piece that goes around here. It feels nice and light, but it also feels super tough. That is a tough material on there. And it's weirdly, this is not a feature, but it seems to be sort of like mud resistant. I've ran through loads of puddles, muddy sections on trails, and they got coated in mud. And I've thought, oh, now I've just spoilt the nice new blue and yellow shoes, which I really do like the colour. The colour was really good, but they were looking pretty grubby at a few points. But I've not done any cleaning, haven't wiped them down, and I wouldn't say that's that dirty. So magical self-cleaning shoes. On the upper as well, you've got this overlay. Can you work that out there? There's an overlay that comes all the way around here. So that is like a protective overlay. Sometimes on some older shoes, on that flex point just there, you would get the shoe splitting over time. I'm assuming with that see-through kind of overlay, that's the protection to help stop that. And with the upper itself being a really tough material, much tougher than certain other shoes, I think that's going to stand up to that constant bend in there. I don't think I'm going to get that split. Right, what else we got? The tongue. Fairly long tongue, sticks up quite a way. Good bit of padding in there, so the tongue is nicely padded. It's also gusseted. I don't know if you can see in there, but it is a gusseted tongue. So it should help stop bits feeding in to the shoe. The laces are insanely long. They're really long. I'm assuming that is for when somebody with hobbit-shaped feet, because they probably bought this because they got massive feet and they just need the extra room, with this being the wide version. The laces would pull out and the laces would get used up more. But with me, I've not pulled that in super duper tight like that. It's still got a bit of a gap there. And the laces, I've got to be a little bit wary when I lace the laces up, because if I don't, then that kind of hangs over the side like that, and then I could trip up over the lace if I'm not careful. But as long as I'm paying attention when I lace the shoes up, all of this is above the bottom of the shoe. But they are very long laces. What else? You've got heel tab, help pull them onto your feet. You've got the extra eyelets just there so you can do the runner's knot. That is upper, midsole, insole. Okay, let's have a look at the outsole.
Steam train alert!
So the outsole, that's it just there. So they are using 4mm multi-directional lugs. So that's the outsole. Hopefully you can see the lugs. So 4mm is going to be much better for harder packed trails, not really for super muddy conditions. They're not deep enough for that. They are spaced out nicely, and as I said, multi-directional, so they should still offer really good grip, and they do. From my experience so far, offering me good grip. They don't retain any bits of debris because they're spaced out nicely, and they're using graphene. So they're sticking with the graphene. Graphene is just, I think that's there for a long time now with Inov8. So they're using graphene outsoles, but it's a different variation. It's a stickier type of variation that they're using compared to graphene outsoles on their older Trailfly shoes. So that is most of the features. £140, that's the price of the shoe. The shoe is £140. So I'll quickly explain some of the differences between the Trailfly Speed and the standard Trailfly that has also been released recently. So the Trailfly, as opposed to the Trailfly Speed that we have here, that has a 6mm drop, and it's got a stack height of 29mm at the heel and 23mm at the forefoot. So bigger stack height, more cushioning, bigger drop. So that is the option that you would go for if you're not after the speedier version. So if you want something you're going to be going slightly slower and possibly a little further, you're looking for a bit more cushioning, it is slightly heavier but only a little bit, then that would be the version to go for. The Trailfly, the standard one, comes in at £130, so that should be a tenner cheaper than the Trailfly Speed. You go for the Speed if you want something lighter, lower to the ground, bit more nimble, bit more reactive. That is why you would go for this shoe. If that's not what you're looking for and you just want something to, not plod is the wrong word, but something to travel slightly slower in and with a bit more cushioning, go for the standard Trailfly. Hopefully that helped you out with this shoe and a bit on the other one as well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.